I think it's time that we get started on our new engine. So how do we do that? First things first, we got to get things clean. As you all know, we're using some used parts. The rotating assembly that I have is actually from a friend of mine. So it's used and it's been sitting in a box for a little while now. It's a little dirty. We need to clean all of this stuff up, make it as new as possible, as clean as possible, so that we can go ahead and get started with our build. So first off, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today, and then I'll share some other stuff over here with you in just a second. Today, all we're going to be doing is cleaning the pistons. I know, right? A whole video on cleaning pistons? Well, what I want to do is talk about how important it is to make things clean, right? Take the extra step and make sure, I don't care if you have brand new parts, make sure those parts are clean. 1 grain of sand under a bearing can ruin your whole build, guys. There's always going to be dust in the air. There's going to be contaminants, but we want to do our job to make sure everything's right. So how are we going to do this with no parts washer? I figure most of you don't have a parts washer. I don't have one. So how are we going to go about doing this? Well, this is pretty easy, guys. Take yourself a bucket, and now look, this is dangerous. So before I go any further with this, disclaimer, this is very, very dangerous if you're not careful, okay? We have gas in this 5-gallon bucket right here. Gas. You know what happens if there's a spark or this thing ignites. You're going to have a mess on your hands. Feel free to use diesel fuel, kerosene, a blend, a mixture. I don't care, but gas is going to clean a little quicker. You're on your own with that, guys. So I'm not going to recommend you use gas, but use some type of parts cleaner, okay? Get yourself some really good gloves that won't disintegrate and break down in this gas. So what we got to do first is get these nasty rings off of these pistons. So we're going to go ahead and get those off. That way we can get inside of these grooves and really clean everything up. All right, so I'm going to set you guys up right here. This is the best shot that I've got. We're going to put our gloves on. We're going to go ahead and get to work. So we're going to talk a little bit while we do this. So if any of you are new to the channel right now and you're thinking, what in the world is this guy doing? Why is he using a 5-gallon bucket and gasoline or diesel or any of this to clean parts? Well, this is a budget channel and we try to stay as budget oriented as possible, guys. This right here will work perfect for what we're trying to do. Trying to save people money. What I don't want you to do is sit around and not get anything done because you don't feel like that you have the parts you need to get started. There's always more than one way to skin a cat. Let's go ahead and get started. So we have all of our rings off our piston. You can see these things are pretty dirty. What we're going to do is dunk these in the gas, swirl them around a little bit, and we're just trying to get any of this dirt, debris, grease, anything we can off of these pistons and out of the grooves. Now, make sure you do not use a wire brush or anything like that. You don't want to damage the pistons, and simply just go in and really clean these grooves out. Now we're going to do this again before we actually build the engine. We're not building the engine today, but I want to go ahead and get everything cleaned up. Got nice clean grooves all the way around. So rather than showing you guys each piston getting cleaned up, what I want to do now is take you over and show you all the stuff that we have for the engine. We've got almost everything that we need to build this thing, but there are a few things still left. That's okay. We're going to order those here pretty soon. If you guys don't know, I posted up on Instagram which camshaft will I be running. It took a little while, but finally there was a couple people that guessed it right. I thought that was pretty cool out of all the cams out there that you guys actually guessed this cam correctly. So the camshaft that we are running is a little bigger than your normal like turbo camshaft or whatever the case may be. Richard Holdner, I think is his name. I may be saying that wrong. I'll put a link right here or a picture or something for you guys. He's the one that I've been watching on camshafts, and he's really changed the way I thought about cams. I think he would help change everybody's mind on it. He's done the dynos. You know, he's run these engines on the dyno with these turbo cams, with nitrous cams, with blower cams, NA, all that stuff, and in every situation. I'll go ahead and spill the beans. So if your cam makes really good power NA, more than likely it's going to make even more power boosted or with nitrous or something like that. So with that being said, guys, I'm not going to get into all of that stuff. The cam that I have in my hand right now has made 1,000 horsepower on the dyno with a pretty mild turbo setup. So it's a very streetable cam, but it's not the smallest. It is the XE274HR. That's it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this is a nasty sounding little cam. This thing sounds really, really good. I know with the turbo, ours probably isn't going to hit that hard. That's fine. I actually want it to be somewhat subtle. So what this cam will allow us to do is to continue to make power in the upper RPMs. Guys, go ahead and let something else out of the bag right now for you. There's a good chance these SVE heads won't stay on the car forever. So with that being said, we're probably going to upgrade heads at some point. It won't be right now. It'll be probably later on in the year or next year, but we probably are going to upgrade heads, and we're going to go serious this time. We will upgrade the turbo, so we're going to go to like a 76mm turbo, something like that. We're going to keep all the on-3 piping and all that type stuff. I just want to prove to the world, to you guys, to the disbelievers, that you can make power on a budget. Now the heads are going to cost you a little bit. Actually, we've been tossing around the idea of running some super budget, really big heads. So we might do that, I don't know. But anyway, this is what we got, the Comp Cams XE274HR camshaft. This is really good. If you guys want to know the specs, if you couldn't read them, advertised duration is 274, 282. Duration at 50 is 224, 232. Lobe separation is 112. Valve lift is 555, 565. So this is going to be a pretty good cam. So we picked up a few other things. I think last week, right before Ford takeover. Just simple stuff. We have the ARP oil pump drive shaft. Want to make sure I don't break that thing. So that's why I went with that. Picked up a new pointer. So this is your timing pointer right here. Got that. And this is the, I guess, new LMR, like SVE maybe, oil pan, one-piece gasket. They just got this in, so I assume that this is their own brand, like the SVE stuff. Anyway, one-piece oil pan gasket. We got our balancer bolt. I wanted to go ahead and just get a really good balancer bolt, guys. I mean, you don't have to have all of this stuff, but I wanted to go ahead and pick this up. I don't think it was but maybe $9 or something like that. So got ourselves a new balancer. Also, you got to remember the way we're doing this engine, we're trying to save the current engine that is in the car. We're trying to save all of the accessories and everything that we can so that we can leave that engine as a whole, because we also have a transmission sitting over here on the floor, a T5. In other words, we'll have a whole motor, transmission, everything to get another car up and running. So the more parts that I can buy for this new engine, for this new Dart setup, the more parts we can leave on that other engine, and we can save ourselves another Fox body, or maybe even an SM, I don't know. So normally you wouldn't have to buy every single thing that I'm buying. I had to do that simply, for that reason. What else? Oh yeah, Comp Cams timing chain set, and then we just got our gasket kit for our water pump, front seal, all that type of stuff. I think that might be it. Oh yeah, one more thing. So we have a Ford Performance high volume oil pump. So what else do we need? Well, we need head studs, and yes guys, we're going to run head studs in this build. We got to get our head studs, we have to get our head gaskets, and I do think we're going to go with Cometic head gaskets to get the compression that we want out of this engine. We want 10.5 to 1 compression. So to get that compression, we're going to have to really kind of manipulate our head gasket thickness. So Cometic allows you to do that, right? I mean, you can get any thickness head gasket that you want, so that's probably what we're going to do. Everything that we buy comes from YouTube, okay? Every bit of the parts that we buy. Not 1 cent comes out of my banking account. So whatever we get YouTube wise is whatever we get to spend. I get paid on the 21st of every month, so when the 21st rolls around, we buy parts. We're going to see how honest everybody really wants YouTubers to be, because I mean, do you really care about that? Does it really matter? Probably not. But I do like to be honest with people, because it helps you understand what it is that we have going on and why sometimes things don't get done, right? You guys are building this car. That's ultimately what I'm trying to tell you. That's why we call it the People's Fox. Don't call it the People's Fox all the time, because nobody watches the videos whenever I label it People's Fox. Nobody watches the videos. We don't make money. We can't buy parts for the People's Fox. You guys know what this car is. You guys know what it means to me. We're going to go ahead, get these pistons cleaned up, and we'll just kind of do a final overview of what they look like whenever they're done. And we'll talk a little bit more and wrap this video up. And just like that, we've got ourselves a nice set of clean pistons. So what we're going to do from here is let these things completely dry off, air dry, wipe them down, blow them off, and I'm going to put them inside the house. That way we don't get all of this dirt on them again. But we will be repeating this process in clean gas. Look at this though. You guys can see all of that crap. So all of that came off of just the pistons. So we will be doing the crankshaft the same way, but I'm not going to do it right now. It's all wrapped up over there. So once we do the crankshaft, we're probably going to go ahead and throw this thing in. I did want to go ahead and get the pistons because they're going to be there's a lot more work involved in the pistons. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do that now. Crankshaft is going to be a quick and simple dip. Brush it all off. It should be good. Blow out all the journals. Anyway, that's going to wrap this video up. You know how I do. I like to hang out, talk to you guys, include you in on what it is that we're doing. See you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.